Welcome to the Whiskey Explorer. Thanks so much for tuning in for another episode, guys. And if this is your first time in the channel, if you could please do us a quick favor, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think about this bourbon if you were lucky enough to get your hands on it, and we'll get the conversation continued at the Whiskey Explorer. And if you haven't done so already, guys, you can find me on Instagram and follow me there at Whiskey Explorer 1. Alright guys, and I am very excited for tonight. We have got an awesome bottle for you. We have got none other than the Knob Creek 18-year-old. Alright guys, so this is a special edition. This is Knob Creek at 18 years old. This is done by the Jim Beam Distillery for their 30th anniversary of Knob Creek. Fantastic, nice, big, bold 18-year-old age statement on there. This is bottled at 100 proof or 50% ABV. And it comes in this really kind of cool box. I personally think this is a really great, fantastic box. I will show you guys some of this in the B-roll as well. But it's got this kind of cool mechanism on the back to free the bourbon. I'll show you guys that in a minute. But it also has this really nice kind of Knob Creek kind of embossed kind of brass plate on it. Copper plate, which I really like. And then it also has some nice kind of Knob Creek limited edition laser engraving on there. I think this is a fantastic presentation. On the back here, almost everybody I've talked to who has owned this bottle has had this issue where they don't know quite how this clasp works, but this clasp basically you flip this clasp up, this brass clip, and then you pull out this little piece of wood here, and then that frees your whiskey, and so basically from there you can pull it out of the case there, and you've freed the bourbon. All right, guys. So there's the case there. I'll just kind of put that aside. I'll put the bottle out here for display for you guys. A very beautiful motif as well. The burgundy and the gold looks just so sharp and fantastic. I think it's even a step up from the 15-year. I think this looks really awesome. It also has that kind of new bottle style where it's got the kind of the warping as if it were the bottle were kind of cooked in a fire. So that's kind of cool. It kind of gives it like a hand-built quality, kind of hand glass blown by hand sort of rather idea. And then you've got this nice little neck tag here that says the 30th anniversary of Knob Creek, and it is from 1992 to 2022. So yes, this is a 2022 release. This was part of our Spirit release for November 2022. I couldn't quite jump on this one just due to the price. I believe this was about $240, $250 on the shelf, plus the taxes. And I actually do know it was quite an expensive bottle in the States as well. I believe it was about $180 or $190 US. So actually, in terms of bourbon here and the markup that we have, the exchange rate and all that, that's not too bad an asking price. I just couldn't really do it with all the other stuff that I was buying at the Spirit release. So this is actually on loan to us for the channel from our good friend in the whiskey community, Zach. So Zach, thank you so much for this loan. Had a blast sharing some of this with you the other night. Let's get into it for an official review. All right, guys, having a look in the color at the color in the glass, you can tell this one is just a really kind of nice, rich, kind of medium copper. Medium, I would say. Let's go all the way to the dark copper tone on this one here. Nice, dark, rich, inviting color in the glass here. And then we will go in for a nose here. Cheers. Wow. So a delicious, expressive nose here. Lots of sweet, deep, dark cherry notes, vanilla cream. I definitely get the vibe of that vanilla Coke that I was picking up on the Knob Creek 12, which I absolutely loved. I mean, there's still quite a bit of the Knob Creek 12 kicking around on the shelves here, and even though it is $130, I am very tempted to go and pick up a bottle for my own collection of that. It is that good. All right, guys, so caramel, butterscotch, deep dark cherry, vanilla, and then just a really nice amount of that Jim Beam nuttiness. So this is kind of in that funky, dusty, older kind of nutty note. This is kind of hearkening almost some leather and pipe tobacco mixed in with some nuttiness, so some walnut, hazelnut, almond, that kind of type deal. Very nice nose on this one. Super inviting and very expressive right out of the glass. I can even, hold it at this distance and I can still pick up the nose of this one. So very nice, strong, present nose on this one. Very sweet and desserty on the nose. I think the predominant notes here are that sweet, deep, dark cherry note mixed in with that Jim Beam quintessential nuttiness, which of course we'd expect to get at an 18-year-old Jim Beam product. All right, let's go in for a taste here, guys. Cheers. Wow. Oh my gosh, guys. This is incredible. That cherry note is like the sweetest confectionery, deep, syrupy, sweet cherry note you've ever tasted. That's mixed in with this just beautiful milk chocolate note. So I would even go so far as to say this is like, chocolate covered cherries. Then there's this kind of this beautiful, almost like a marzipan note in there. And I'm not a marzipan fan at all. In fact, I don't like it whatsoever. But in this bourbon, it's very welcome. There's like this sweet, confectionery, vanilla, marzipan, custard type note. Almost like vanilla ice cream even. French vanilla. Wow, this really coats the palate as well. It's nice and mouth coating. But it's not quite as mouth coating, I would say, as the Knob Creek 9-year-old single barrel. It's a little bit less, and I think that's just due to the slightly lower proof. So it coats and completely envelops the palate, but it's not as viscous maybe. But still, very welcome, very mouth coating. The middle of the palate is all this rich vanilla sweetness mixed in with that cherry note, brown sugar, a little sprinkling of cinnamon in there, confectionery sugar, little tiny hint of nuttiness, and chocolate on the mid palate. Just an absolutely fantastic, lights out dram. I'm getting to try this in 2023, so this could very likely end up on the list of best whiskeys of 2023. This is just absolutely fantastic. I know that this one was a late drop in 2022, but there were quite a few whiskey tubers that had this on their list of best whiskeys for 2022, and now I can definitely see why. Let's go in for another sip here, guys. Cheers. So guys, I took my time with it there. Got a nice Kentucky chew on that, and there's so much complexity to this dram. It opens up with that sweet, deep, dark cherry note. That follows with a really strong rush of vanilla. So it's giving me that vibe of like a vanilla cherry Coke. And then it's right into this really rich, sweet oak note that gives way to a little bit of drying, stringent oak. So very oaky on the mid palate. And that mixes in with some of that quintessential Jim Beam nuttiness and a little bit of kind of bitter walnut nuttiness in there, mixed in with a little bit of the butterscotch and caramel. The mid palate is vanilla, and then a little bit of that cinnamon spice on there just sprinkled in. So guys, this is a super well-rounded, super well-developed, complex dram with multiple layers that you could sit here and sip and dissect all night. What a fantastic dram, guys. This is like just next level stuff right here. And you know what? This is when you can sort of appreciate that higher price point. When the whiskey that you taste is worth the money, and you recognize it and understand it, you can get a real appreciation for why it's priced that way. I don't think you can find anything that's as complex and well developed and kind of rich and kind of encompassing all those beautiful bourbon flavors that you want to find in something that costs less money. Absolutely fantastic dram, guys. Thank you so much for joining me to enjoy it. And until next time, may your sails be full and your drams be fuller. Cheers.